Welcome back, everybody, to Even Your Dynasty Show.
We just got breaking news in.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Even Your Dynasty Show. We are joined again this week from NorCal Sports Network. I've got Dan. How you doing, Dan?
I'm doing great, Cody. Good to see you again.
Yeah, it's always a good time. I always have a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Anytime we can talk Giants baseball, and now we're in baseball season finally.
Yeah. Anytime we've got actual real baseball to talk about, it is just I'm happy. It's been a long off season, as every off season feels. Once the Super Bowl wraps up, I'm usually just like, all right, just get spring training going. Let's get some real games to talk about. So,
I mean, baseball, you got the Winter Olympics going on right now, of course, which is taking some center stage. But I mean, baseball should just be dominating because the NBA seems to be floundering with, they got their all-star game this weekend, which is, I will not watch that. You couldn't pay me to watch their all-star games. It's the worst exhibition I've ever seen. Now pro football.
I was going to say bigger joke, NBA or NFL all-star.
Pro football. What is this, flag football now? I mean, the only true, hockey does a good exhibition all-star game, and baseball still is a fun game to watch.
Yeah.
It's not nothing's as good as it was competitive wise, 20, 30 years ago, but still.
Yeah, back then they actually cared about like winning and losing. Now I feel like in baseball it's just you'll get Skeens to play and he's still out there throwing 100, but a lot of these guys will just be like, hey, here's 5 fastballs at 100 miles an hour. I'm not going to even try and bust an off speed on you. They just go right at them, and it's it's good for offense, I guess, but not as entertaining.
Yeah. You want entertainment? Go watch Greg Gagne and Barry Bonds. As they had an agreement, and then nothing but heat, and then one pitch Gagne threw him that wasn't a straight heater, and Bonds looked at him like, "Hey, that wasn't part of the deal."
Well, didn't Barry say like you get one, you get one off speed?
Maybe something like that. But the pitch, he did end up hitting it out, but the pitch before that, or the one that he pulled, way foul. I mean, he put it in the water, but it was 100 feet foul. He got around on 100 miles. I don't know how he did it. It's
still one of the most impressive swings I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It like 100 up and in, and he just yanks it into the wall. It's like no one should be able to get to that pitch. No. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. He's something else.
Yeah. And Dan, this is actually absolutely accurate. Celebrating is fun to watch though. Yeah.
2 goals so far in the Olympics, right?
Yeah, and I'm not the biggest hockey guy, but that guy is just so much fun to watch. So they're probably the most exciting team in the Bay Area right now. It's pretty crazy to watch. So but so we got a little bit of action today. Obviously, spring training's coming. I see a lot of people are starting to filter in. We're simulcasting this both on our channel as well as on NorCal for Dan's side.
Yeah, so make sure you hit the like on both channels.
Yeah, if you guys enjoy it, subscribe, do all the good stuff on both sides.
And cross-pollinate subscribe.
Cross-pollinate. Oh, man, that's funny. But so we had a little bit of action. Giants signed a guy that is to a 1-year deal with a club option that is not going to pitch this season, and that was Rowan Wick.
Now, what's interesting is it's funny because I was just checking out another channel that was going on, and they were talking about, he's going to go on the 60-day. You don't need to put him on the 40. And I go, no, you do. You got to first put him on the 40. So somebody's either going to get DFA'd or there's a trade because he's going to go on the 60, but you first have to put him on the 40.
Yep. So it's going to be a little interesting what they do there. I mean, they have plenty of options on players to give the boot to, but it is a bit interesting. They are probably going to just throw them right on the 60 immediately, right after they do whatever moves they have to. I get what they're doing. I mean, at the end of the day, it really doesn't hurt anything. They're probably paying him the vet minimum to rehab.
I think it's like 800,000 or something like that. I think I read.
Yeah, they're paying 800,000 to basically have first dibs at him when he's healthy because they have the club option.
Right.
So,
and by the way, for those who kind of don't understand what we're talking about when you have to put him on the 40, the reason you first have to put him on the 40 and you just can't put him on the 60 is clubs would just stash like all these guys that are injured, and you'd have 20 guys on your 60 that don't count toward the 40. But it is a move that does cost you a player off your roster potentially. I mean, they could clear waivers and then come right back and sign a big deal. Who on the 40 though, Cody? Who's vulnerable right now? Who gets either DFA'd or there could be a trade in the works, which.
Yeah, well, 616 brought up a good point. If they put Foley, I don't know if they already did. So let me look if they did or not. But if they put Foley on the 60-day, then they don't have to do anything.
That is correct. If Foley has not been now, they already did make room for a rise by putting
Randy
Rodriguez. On the 60. Let me just take a quick pitch. Let's see. Who are we talking about going on to the?
Oh yeah, he said it's in the transaction log. So Foley.
Okay, so Foley is.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He already on the 40 and he's not there. So.
Yeah. They had to add him in the off season because of because you can't put him on the 60 until spring. So
transactions today. Place Jason Foley on the 60-day IL recovery from right shoulder surgery. There we go. So Wick, there you go. There it is.
Aaron says Giants were interested in Means too, but he only had one torn Achilles. That's hilarious. I mean, the other part of this is because they did sign a reliever, so we're gonna throw this one out there. I don't know for everyone watching. Greg Johnson made a comment today of, hey, we're still looking at bullpen arms. I mean, they promptly signed a guy that's not pitching this season, which made it a little hilarious. But he did mention that the team is still open and they're still looking at that. Which, I mean, Dan and I were kind of chatting beforehand. There's not a whole lot out there. I think Kopech is probably the only guy with any kind of significant upside that's available. There's a few arms that maybe are a little intriguing. I looked at Jalen Beeks is coming off a decent year, but there's not. I mean, honestly, looking at the rest of the names, there's not a whole lot of guys that I feel better about that particular player than I do the laundry list of explosive arms that they've kind of already brought in that all have their issues, but you're going to see who maybe can get hot coming out of spring and contribute. But it was pretty funny because then right after Johnson made that, and I'm not going to go on too big of a tangent here, but right after Johnson made the comments of, we're still looking, like, hey, we're trying. He made the comments of, I haven't had to tell Buster no yet, but we're getting close. It's like the guy cannot go near a microphone without sticking his foot in his mouth.
17, what are they, about 17 million under the CBT right now? I think.
Oh, I'd have to look at COTS. I thought they were
I think COTS, I think I looked at it yesterday, or Jeff did. Jeff Young looked at it last night when he was on the show because we were looking at it. I'm going to pull it up right now. COTS. Mm-hmm. Okay, the Giants are at 227. So they still got about 16. What is it, 244 or 243? Yeah.
244, I believe.
Okay, so there's 17 million.
Yeah.
And they rank 12th in payroll when it comes to CBT.
Yeah. So, I agree with Dan. I agree with Dan up here. He said they need to muzzle Greg. Every time he opens his mouth, he pisses fans off. I swear to God, that guy wakes up and he just goes, I haven't pissed the fans off in a while. He gets in front of a microphone. It's like it's his goal.
So look at that. Look at Senior's comment there at 9:42. Did either you see the Devers Eldridge video today? one looked like an athlete, talking about Bryce, and one looked like a beer league softball player.
and you know what? One of them in Major League Baseball has looked like he's hitting off beer league softball players. So, because Rafi is, he's kind of done it and proven it. Yeah, so he can do whatever he wants if he rakes. So, whatever.
It'll be interesting to see. Yeah, I've been watching some of the highlights online. I've been seeing some guys taking infield practice on the practice field, not on the main field.
Mm-hmm.
And they've had Casey over at third a couple times, and it looks like he's not even really. It just looks like he's not really fully throwing. I mean, not that he's not healthy. It's just practice. Yeah. It's not like live. It doesn't look like he would field it if it was a real game. It's just like get the ball and just kind of throw. It's just they're
doing fundamentals drills. Yeah, they're not nothing crazy.
It's not. Yeah, they haven't got into it yet. You'll see more of that next week. It'll ramp up. Yeah. I'll be there, by the way, everyone, Monday. So I should have some highlights either Tuesday night, when I think we'll probably go live next Tuesday. So get some highlights Monday, see if I can get some good video of BP and some fielding. So we'll see. But
I was going to ask if you try and get there a bit early to get a little bit.
I try and get there early and then, see the guys actually come out, warm up. It's funny because a few years ago, I was just so tempted, but I wasn't going to do it because it would have come off as very unprofessional. But when I had the media credential, I wanted to go out there and say, "Hey, let me play catch with you, one of you guys too, while they're warming up," because I just love playing ball, But so you just sit there and watch guys. But I mean, there's fans that are sitting and press behind when they're playing catch. I'd be very careful because sometimes a guy will let one loose and it's right over the guy's head, and you could be eating one.
Yep. Head on a swivel, everyone. I don't know if the netting out there goes all the way down.
I don't trust them. I've seen too many guys, let one loose, and But I don't know, Cody. You look at this team right now. They've had 5 days or 4 days, I guess, 4 days. Pitchers or not pitchers, but position guys, they're due to report Sunday, but everybody's there. So I don't know what the thing is. It's like, I guess maybe it's because of the Players Association. They probably have don't have to be there until a certain date. So they, whether it's for guys coming from other countries, getting visa problems, whatever it is, they just give guys a little bit more time on the position side. So, but I think this team, put together a lineup last night, and I was just kind of playing with it, and it'll be interesting because so many people have differing opinions on where a rise should hit. And I know you and I have talked about it. We kind of both think fifth is a great spot because if he leads off, he's either going to get on by a hit or an error in the most part because he doesn't get walked too much. His on-base percentage versus his batting average, it was only 35 points difference last year. It was 292 batting average, 327 on base. When you look at a Matt Chapman, he's 240, but he's on base 340, so it's a huge swing. So if you put a rise up at the leadoff spot, he gets a base hit. Now you've got all the guys that have struggled to drive him in because of the strikeouts. Now, it would be nice to have a guy on base before Devers comes to bat, whether he's batting second or third, right? Potential to drive him in. And so I can see people's point there, but I think like Dallas talked about, sandwiching a rise in between maybe a Chapman and a Adames and Chapman or whoever, we just can't put those two guys back to back again. Adames, Chapman. I don't know why they keep doing that. It's what do you think makes, last year it was Melvin make out a lineup and say, I think I'll put Adames and then Chapman back to back. And you couldn't see that time after time after time they would strand runners because they both chased.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if the thought process was simply, this is the hand I'm dealt and I'm going to just keep riding it. I mean, granted, for a lot of last season, I sat there begging them to switch Ramos and Chapman in the lineup and take Ramos out of the leadoff spot, bump him down to like fourth, and then have Chapman hit leadoff. But that's neither here nor there at this point. I don't get it, because even the other part of that is last season, Devers, when he came to the Giants, was striking out almost 30% of the time. And now I don't think
29.3 last year.
Yeah. And I don't think he's going to do that again this season. I mean, you look at Devers' career, he's usually sub 25% for the most part. He has some years where he's 20-ish. Some years he's like 24. Last year was kind of an anomaly when it came to strikeouts.
Yeah. And I think it was, I personally think there was two things contributing to it. One was his back. Yeah. And I think, when the back, he looked behind on swings, didn't he? Mm-hmm. I mean, just like fastballs right down the wheelhouse. Yeah. And he was swinging and missing. I think he was kind of like that back was hurting so he compensated. I think that's the main reason. The other reason is he was probably pressing a little bit too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, that's natural when he got traded over to the Giants, because his strikeout rate wasn't anything like that when he was with Boston. I want to say it was like low 20s.
No, I have it. Well, I got it over on my screen. Yeah. I'll have to look at it, but it was, let me see. While you're doing that, I'll pull it up on, I can look at it and just see what because I've got a statistic thing in there that shows the Giants strikeout rate for 2025. And here it is. Okay. So last year he was 21.9 with his career is 21.9. He was 29.3 with the Giants last year.
Yeah. So I think that's going to go down. Now, I mean, granted, it's not, this isn't a Lee or an Arise where they don't strike out, hardly at all, but I think that if you at least get him between those two guys, you can kind of live with it. He should put the ball in play more often than not. Chapman's always been kind of weird, but the one thing I do like Chapman in front of Devers, because he does get on base. Cue the Billy Bean, and it cuts to the money ball where he's like, because he gets on base. Like I'm all for that. And I don't necessarily love Chapman being at the top of the order, getting more at bats than guys like Adames or Ramos or any of those guys. But at the same time, I don't really want Chapman near the middle of the order and all the run producing spots. And he gets on base, so I don't mind him being behind Arise. Now, Dan did put in the chat there, I guess they've basically all that confirmed Arise is going to lead off. I get it. Like I can live with that. To me, at that point, I then hit Lee fifth. It's not an ideal spot, but I get a guy in there that puts the ball in play consistently. I do think he's going to be better. Similar reasons that I wanted Arise to hit fifth. Now, Arise, I wanted to hit fifth because you look at his career, he's almost a 350 hitter with runners in scoring position.
I pulled up his numbers, and he hits best in the fifth spot of any position in the batting order. He has the highest OPS at fifth. Mm-hmm. In fact, I'll just tell you these numbers here as I pull them up on my screen here, because it's very interesting to me. And now the majority of his at bats is first, and then second is his next highest at bats or plate appearances. But if you look at him I'll just pull up his numbers right here. Okay, batting order positions. His batting average, batting fifth, is 376. which is the best of any other position. The next is 356 batting third. He bats 323 in the leadoff. His on-base percentage, 437, batting fifth. Now, he's only had 103 plate appearances, so it's a small sample size, so you take that with a grain of salt. But it is something that is interesting because his slugging is at third, he bats 475, and he's at fifth, 441. But his OPS, 878, tied third and fifth. Yeah. So he does a little bit. Why? Because he's hitting the ball and it's finding holes and guys are scoring. And, and he's getting some doubles. But I get it. Like you said, where they put him will be interesting. I have a feeling that the opening day, though, we're going to see Chapman in that 4-hole again. I just have a feeling. It's just like
I will give Vitello a lot of leash this year, but I will absolutely rage to post on that one if they put Chapman back in cleanup. I get the whole, he's a vet, he's a leader of this team, yada yada. They don't want to piss off the vets, but I mean, good Lord. At some point, we've all seen the evidence he needs to not be hitting there. But we'll see what happens. I mean, I know Willie likes hitting second. Historically, it's something that he's kind of mentioned. So they might be trying to play the, hey, let's please the vets. I don't think the lineup we see on opening day is what we're going to see in the second half of the season. I think there will be movement at some point where they tinker with it to try and figure out what works best. But early on, you might get a little bit of him catering to the vets a little bit, unfortunately. I don't like it, but is what it is. And then let's see. We had a comment I flagged in here. NorCal fan asked, do you guys think Bader is an everyday center fielder at this point in his career? If not, does that make Gilbert's development crucial? Yeah, I mean, the reality with Bader is I don't think he's gonna duplicate what he did last year offensively. If he does, I will be floored like that.
Oh yeah,
the Giants are gonna have a phenomenal player if he duplicates that.
If he has a year like he had last year and they stay healthy pitching wise, they will make the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean that would. I don't think anybody expects another 4-win season out of Harrison Bader.
I'd be shocked if he. He had a 277 batting average last year. He batted 305 with the Phillies in a shortened period of time.
Yeah.
But overall, he hit 277. I think he falls back down around the 250 range where he actually lives. I mean, his lifetime batting average is 247. If you looked at his some of his raw numbers that were, I mean, he got some of the hits he got last year. His expected batting average was much lower than what he ended up.
Yeah.
So
it wouldn't shock me if he's at like 230 or 240. At the end of the year. Not at all. I think the power has some staying power.
Especially at left field, I think at Oracle.
He pulls the ball in the air well. Yeah. Like it wouldn't shock, and he hits it pretty hard. Like it wouldn't shock me if he still hits 15 to 20-ish out. I think some of the pop will play, but I do think the average is going to drop a bit. But the reality is he's going to probably be a near everyday player at least. Maybe maybe he gets a few more breaks than others and they just try and get Gilbert in the lineup. But I think he's going to be near every day as long as his defense is high end, because I think the team I think he's going to be hitting about 8th in the lineup, and they're just going to go, hey, you know what we get offensively out of him, cool. We're paying him for his glove. We're paying him to be out there and every day in center field and be a near elite defender, which is what he's pretty much been for a long time. So I think that's kind of what we're looking at with Bader. And if he's giving them that production, he's giving them what they, paid him for. So I think that's all they're looking for.
Right. I love to look at his spray chart because it's something that I'm just looking, his bat speed last year was 71, which is in the 73.5, but he's, slugging, exit velo's pretty low, squared up, very low. He just had a pretty good year, but if you look at his spray chart, almost all of his home runs are down the left field line, which is pretty good for Oracle. Okay.
Yeah.
Like I always thought that a guy like Alex Bregman would have been good at Oracle because, he's a dead pull hitter as well. But if you look at his spray chart on Baseball Savant, his home runs are really left field. They're not left center. They're left field. He had 2 home runs last year that went to left center, and he had 2 to right field. The other, I think he had 17, so that would have been 13, dead pull.
Yeah.
So,
and he made some tweaks to his he made some tweaks to his stance. I know he narrowed up a little bit last season, so he made some adjustments. Started to pull the ball a little bit more frequently. I mean, his strikeout rate, his bat speed went up 2 miles per hour. Is it just a career year, contract year thing? Like Aaron mentioned, big surprise guy in a contract year has a solid year. I mean, maybe that we see it all the time, but there are some reasons to kind of look at the changes he made and think, all right, there's some staying power with this. This could continue for a year or two. Maybe not. Like we said, he's not going to probably hit 277 again in a 122 WRC plus, but I mean, maybe the bats league average or 105 or, it's right around there. And then he keeps playing great defense. That's all they're hoping. That's all they're trying to pay him for in this.
What was interesting is if you look at his spray chart, it's pretty funny. He would have had 1 home run that looks like it would have went into the Cove because the spray chart that they're using is Oracle Park, which is weird because he didn't play at Oracle Park, but they're showing as though where his balls would have landed at Oracle Park, and one of them's into deep right field. Jeez. I mean, so he probably, Elliot Ramos, the only one to ever put one in the Cove from the right side, and Buster Posey would have had one in the playoffs in 21, but it hit that expansion thing or whatever.
Cannon.
Yeah, whatever that thing was. But I don't know. I'm kind of I'm so mixed on this. There's part of me, Cody, that feels like there's some excitement with the batting order to see how they do. And then I get a little bit of reservation when I come back to reality. I go, well, yeah, maybe they score 4 or 5 runs a little more often, but they go into the 8th inning with a 4-2 lead, and then all of a sudden they lose 5-4 at some point in the 8th and 9th. Yeah. That's my concern. Maybe not even just in the 8th inning. It's like, what happens if they're in the pin in the 5th, in the middle of the 5th, they're in the pin, and it's like, okay, now we got to go 4 full innings with this bullpen. And you're going to have some nights where everybody looks good and you're going to go, wow, this bullpen can be really special. And then you're going to see, generally it doesn't happen as often early, but mid to late season, all of a sudden guys are getting tired, instead of balls that are breaking just a little bit off the plate, they're grooved and they're straight and they're right down, Broadway, and guys are giving up, 3-4 hits an inning and they're getting taken out. And it's just, that's the part that concerns me about this team. And that's maybe why Greg Johnson said we're still looking at the bullpen. I don't know.
I mean, you look at the bullpen, and how many guys there in our pen do you feel pretty good about when they come into a game? Because I think maybe 2.
Honestly, I'm thinking of, with this bullpen, I'm thinking of Sam Henches if he's healthy.
Henches is good. I think people, if he's healthy, obviously that's a big if.
Yeah,
because he's coming off that injury, but he is really good when he's
healthy. If Miller can find his command, I like Miller.
Those are my 2.
Beyond that, I don't know who else I'm excited about. I really
like Peguero is, Peguero is, he showed some good things, but he's also had a lot of command issues down in the in the minors, and we'll see if he can keep that together. There's a few other people that, they've shown flashes. I mean, and I think Jeff might have brought this up on your show yesterday, but I mean, and this isn't out of the realm of possibility. Relievers are so volatile year to year. It is not unreasonable to think there's a possibility that Ryan Walker shows up and has a great year and looks closer to 2024.
Yeah.
If he does, that solves a lot of problems with this ped. I mean, it just on the back end. But does a single Giants fan, after watching him last year, feel like, oh, that's going to happen? No one does. He could, but no one feels confident that he's going to come back and look like the 2024 guy.
Oh, yeah. So, I think the thing that drove me most crazy about Walker last year was just hitting guys, just constantly. Like 0-2, up, another hit batter. Yeah. I mean, how many guys? I bet he hit half a dozen guys last year in his appearances.
Yeah. He had no clue where it was going. And he was hanging sliders left and right. He never got the feel of his slider all year. It was just, it was a tough year for him.
Yeah.
But if the shape's a little better, I mean, we'll see. But
bullpen it's a weird position because, like you said, guys can get going. I mean, if you look at a lot of closers across MLB, and you look at just the team's closers, and you go, "I've never heard of that guy 3 years ago." He was pitching, but all of a sudden he became a closer because guys just get hot and they get into that role and they develop. And so I mean, Birdsong could be a crazy closer if they said, "Hey, we're going to put you find your command," and all of a sudden Birdsong, nasty stuff. Can you imagine Birdsong in one inning, what he would look like?
He'd be gassing it to 100, and he would just be his shape. His fastball shape improved last year. I think I did a Birdsong. I'm doing a Birdsong video that's dropping next week while I'm on vacation. I should just say it that way. And his fastball shape, one of the things I saw, it improved. It was a big issue his first year. That was one of the few pitches that he threw that actually was better from 24 to 25. Obviously, he had the command issues, but the fastball got a little more whiffs, had a little bit, I think the induced vertical break on it like ticked up. It had a little bit more ride to it. Mm-hmm. Obviously he had some other issues. He talked about his like side bending and he was getting too vertical, but as mechanical issues that they tried to fix this offseason. We'll see if it works out, but I mean, you as a closer throwing 100 miles an hour with
Plus,
that
he's
kick
got the
change.
Mentality. He's got the mentality for it too. He's got that alpha, like I want to put you away type guy. Yeah. I think where Birdsong really, in fact, I would have no problem if they said, if Walker was struggling and we didn't see much for some reason of Bednar taking control of Birdsong, just saying, hey, we're going to make you the closer. Because if you watch his games, where does he struggle? It's when things after a period of time start to go wrong and he gets flustered. But if he can just mentally say, okay, I'm just one inning, I'm going to face three guys, maybe four is all they're getting. They're going to get, they might get one runner off me, but I'm putting them away. That's a guy that could be a nasty closer with, you're talking 100 and then he's got that, filthy couple of other pitches that he can, with the movement he has. And the collector says Wisenhunt would be a crazy duo. I love Wisenhunt in the pen with his changeup. I think Wisenhunt could be a late inning, 7th inning guy that would come in. He reminds me of a guy. I don't know what was his. I mean, Andrew was a lefty at Cleveland. Was it Miller?
Andrew Miller.
Andrew Miller, who could throw for 2-3 innings. Had better fastball than Wisenhunt.
Yeah, I would say Miller was like pushing 100. I think he was like high 90s with a slider instead of a changeup, if I recall right.
But if you can get Wisenhunt to lock in and just say, okay, look at Tommy Canale with the Tigers. couple years ago, he was with the Yankees. He threw 41 straight changeups in the playoffs. 41 straight. I mean, you know the pitch is coming and you still can't hit it. Now, how about Whisenhunt? And he can mix it. He's got, Canelli doesn't have anything else. That's the problem. That's all he had was a changeup. His fastball was not good, but we'll see what they do. I don't know. That's my concern, though, the bullpen. But I think it'll solve itself. I think, you look at their roster, they have 20-plus guys on the 40. I think you'll see almost all of them this year at some point.
You might see all the pitchers.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the pitchers. Yeah. I think there's 22 or 23 on the roster. Wouldn't shock me if you saw all of them at one point.
All I'm asking, though, for Birdsong is just whatever you decide at the beginning, towards the end of spring, if you say, all right, he's going to be in the pen, keep him in the pen. If you're going to have him start, keep him starting. I don't want to see this crap where he goes back and forth. Just pick one and keep him there all year. And to your point about Whisenhunt, he's absolutely a guy that could throw 50% changeups or 60% out of the pen. Yeah. And if he can, being in that 1 inning role or max 2, maybe he can get that fastball up to 95, 96.
I think
if he does, he can just he can literally throw the
two
slider. Yeah, you can throw the slider in the garbage, maybe throw it like 5% of the time.
Yeah.
And just hammer dudes with changeup and occasionally just figure out how to elevate that fastball. If you can get that fastball up,
give him a Sergio Romo freeze pitch like he did to game. What was that, game 4 in Detroit when he froze?
Miggy.
Miggy Cabrera. Just like, Buster was shocked. If you listen, Buster was shocked that he wanted to throw the fastball.
It's funny, though, because I remember watching that, and this was my inner catcher in me. And for 2 or 3 pitches, I was like, fastball, throw a fastball, just throw a fastball. Even if he swings at it, he won't know what to do with it at this point because he is sitting slider every single pitch. And finally he did. It just froze him. And I'm like, there it is.
That's what Whisenhunt can do. That's what Whisenhunt can do in a bullpen situation. Change up, slider in the dirt, change up, boom, fastball 95 right down the middle, and the guy will just take it.
Yeah. If he can command it at the top of the zone where all of a sudden it just, maybe it looks a little bigger. It's up there. They're thinking, oh, this is a changeup that's going to just dump right into the middle of the zone. And all of a sudden it's just by you. And it could be a good pitch. Now, some guys will catch up. They'll hit it out. It is what it is. But these are professional hitters. But yeah, he could be really good in that role. And so, and with Greg talking about, that they're still looking. I think we both mentioned Kopech's kind of the only guy out there. And I mentioned this to Dan in the green room beforehand. If I'm Kopech, and this isn't me being like a Giants homer going like, oh yeah, we're the best place for players to come. But if I'm Kopech, is there really a better team that he could potentially go to for this season for his spot in his career than the Giants? When you look at the Giants bullpen right now, where he could look at it going, okay, I could pitch in Oracle Park. He's already racked up 2 rings with LA, so it's not like he needs to really go ring chasing or anything like that. He could go to Oracle. There's a decent chance he could win the closer job in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And if he comes out, he signs a 1-year deal, and if he becomes the closer at some point and looks good as a closer, which he's got really good stuff, he has that upside. All of a sudden, he could be looking at a pretty hefty payday next season. So I'm just looking at that going, if the Giants could just fork out the money, whatever it is, to try and bring him in, it makes a lot of sense from Kopech's perspective. Unless he just hates the area and doesn't want to be here.
Oh, there he is. I was trying to look for him where he was. Now, last year he made $5.2 million with the Dodgers. He's probably, at this point, probably not going to command much more than $5 million, maybe even less, because he didn't have any options, right? So you look at what Zach Gallen had to sign for today. That's ridiculous. Did you see his contract?
Yeah, it was 1 for 22 with 14
I thought it was
deferred.
Wait a minute, maybe I read it wrong. I thought it was 12 or 13 million.
Oh, 14 million's deferred. That might have been what you saw.
That's okay. Okay. That's probably what I saw, because I thought he signed for like 12 or 13 million. I was like, what?
He basically signed for the qualifying offer. He got one for 22 and then deferred 14 of it, which is smart for Gallen. I mean, re-up with Arizona. He's coming off a bad year. Try and have a better year this year. Re-hit free agency, and they can't hit him with the QO again.
Yeah, they can't hit him the QO, so he'll get more money. You know, if there's baseball next year. I don't know if you saw the Jeff Passan article today, but they are talking about some of the owners are saying
digging in,
want to burn it down.
Yep,
burn it down. They are so pissed, and I mean, baseball, Cody, has a golden opportunity right now with the way things are shaping up. You know, you see other sports. I think baseball's on the rise. They're getting younger people to enjoy the game more than any time in recent memory. The pitch clock has worked. They're putting in the challenge system this year. People are going to probably love that. The game is getting better. It's speeding up, and people are enjoying the game. And if they go on a full year strike, they are going to lose so much ground. And I just don't understand why the player, I get the Players Association doesn't want a cap, but they should be throwing things out right now, working instead of waiting. They should be like, okay, what are some of the ideas? There's, the owners say, okay, there's a salary cap that's on the line. And then the owners or the players should be talking about, well, how about, like I heard one thing that says, okay, I think it was Ryan Russillo talking with somebody. I'm trying to remember who it was, but says like anybody that doesn't spend 120 million, they get penalized. And so there's a penalty, we have a penalty for teams that go over. How about penalty for teams that go under and they start losing money because
put a cap and a floor. Like, honestly,
I did a video on it. I think a cap and a floor makes sense. You could do somewhere in the neighborhood of 250 and 150 or something like that. Yeah. It's still quite a bit of room, from the top to the bottom, but you're bringing them closer together.
Yeah. I think I looked, because I think the trick that they're going to have, like this is going to be what they're going to run into, is they have to be able to prove to the players that they're not losing money. Like, I think that's going to be the way to get it in, because, and if it's, I think at one point last year I looked at it and it was basically if they got it at 300 and 150, which is still a pretty big gap, but it would close it a lot more than it is now. Yeah. It was like 80 more million going out to players than the previous year.
I actually did a video, and that was that I came up with 300. And I can't remember if the floor was 150. I think it was, but I capped it at 300. And you know what? Yeah. All that's going to do is get the majority of the players are going to make more money. It's not hurting. I mean, you're only talking about a few guys like Soto and Ohtani, now Tucker, guys that are eating up a huge portion of the cap. But they're still look at the Yankees. Are they even over 300? Let me look. I got it right here. Cots. The Yankees right now are sitting at, they're over. They're at 338. So the Mets are at 377. The Dodgers are.
I'm looking at them. They're in 2027, they're at 412 this year. But in 2027, they're at 363 already. In 2028, they're at 302. And then 2029, they're at 238. So, I mean, baseball could literally say, okay, by the year 2029, you have to be under 300. Or they could even say 2028 and basically force the Dodgers to trade someone.
Yeah.
They could kind of waive if they really wanted to go that route.
And there should be something. I think the mistake that the NBA made, you should be able to go over if it's your own drafted and developed player, in my opinion.
Yeah. It gets tricky on that, because then it becomes we signed a guy the year before our cheap guy needed to get paid. and it brought us all the way up to the tax. And then now we can keep our other guy.
That's true.
It gets a little tricky. There has to be a hard.
Yeah,
somewhere.
I guess you're right there. It's just I was thinking of the Warriors because they got screwed with that new collective bargaining agreement. And they had Green and they had Curry and they had Clay, and it was like, hey, why are these guys getting penalizing the Warriors because they won? Well, but I think this whole thing with the salary is going to be interesting, and I just wish. I have no talk. I don't know if you hear of any talk. I hear no talk of negotiations or anything. All I hear is there's going to be a lockout, guaranteed. And I'm thinking to myself, why? Why do you have to have a lockout? Why don't you, Tony Clark? I know Tony Clark personally. He was my next door neighbor for 3 or 4 years. Used to talk to him all the time on, I'd be out and he'd talk to Tony, and he was heading. This is when he was playing with the Diamondbacks, because I live in Arizona. And but why isn't he talking right now with Manfred, getting the players union reps and saying, okay, hey, we're going to have something way ahead of us. We've got to start throwing out some ideas.
Yeah. To your kind of original point there, like they're going to have if they let it go and there be a whole lockout, it's going to be tough to rebound. I mean, it'll take years. They will eventually. I mean, hey, maybe they just stop testing for steroids again and let them go crazy.
Yeah. I do think if they are not talking and it gets into a lockout, there's a possibility that, some owners have said, you think about this. How much does a team make, Cody, in general, in a season? A couple hundred, maybe what are they making? Is it like, what did I see? It's not 200 million. Are they making like 200
million? Some of the teams are making like 500 million a year in revenue or more. And TV revenue, it's different.
But a lot of the smaller markets, they're making 200 million, right? And
probably, yeah.
Okay.
And then there's some revenue sharing that goes on, and
So think about this. They lose 200-300 million on average an owner, and this guy's worth billions. So he says, okay, I can afford to do that for a year. I'm not going to get this revenue, but I'm not paying out anything. So I just know I'm going to lose out on the revenue, but I'm willing to do that because I can afford it. I can afford to take a year, but can the players afford to miss a year? The majority can't.
Yeah.
You look at the Giants roster. It's built up of guys that there's about 8 guys that are making the money, maybe 9. It's Chapman, Ray, Devers, Lee, Webb, Adames, Arise, Bader, Molly, and Hauser. That's it. Those are the guys. You can include Foley if you want. It's 7 million, or Hauser, I guess, is 7. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The rest of the guys are making like league minimums, which is like, hey, no one would sneeze at 800 grand, right? But still, those guys, they can't afford to miss.
Yeah. No, I think I've heard people talking about like they'll go over to Korea and Japan just to play a year out there to get paid, or they'll go down to the Mexican League or something and just be like, all right, we're making a check at least. But yeah, no, you're right. There's a lot of players that can't. The high end guys can,
right?
The Mike Trouts of the world and the Bryce Harpers, they can be like, no, F you guys, like we can stick this out. But there's a lot of guys that can't. The vast majority of the players can't.
The vast majority of the players. This is why I don't understand what the players union is thinking. The cap. Just look at how the NFL's handled it. It's been pretty successful.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'm gonna change the subject here because I got to get running here in like 8 minutes.
Yep.
For everyone that's not aware already, I'm gonna be gone all next week. We're heading on the road, so I got to leave bright and early tomorrow. So we're gonna be cutting this here soon. But
how many days you last drive?
we're driving down in one day, but then it's more driving a couple days later, and then it's like 18 hours each way at the end of the day. But so my last question for you, with spring training here and starting up, who are you most excited to watch this spring? Just kind of see how they do. I've got a couple names in mind, but just kind of more interested to watch.
For me, the first name that popped into my head when you said that was Bryce.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to see.
That's an easy one.
Yeah, it's an easy one. Bryce. I really would like to see I kind of want to see how Ramos bounces back. And on the pitching side, I'm kind of excited to see a couple of guys. I want to see how Roop does again this spring.
Yeah.
And I want to see how Molly does if he stays healthy, if he has a pretty good spring.
Yeah.
So those are the guys. Jung-Hoo Lee would be another guy. I just want to see him make more contact where he's going to more spraying the ball all over the field instead of, but the rest of the guys, Devers, he's not going to do, Devers, Chapman, Adames, all those guys, they're just vets and they're going to, whatever they do or don't do doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got a few. One I'm really looking forward to seeing is Tidwell. Seeing how he looks. Vitello has now mentioned, he mentioned three guys, Birdsong, Tidwell, and Wisenhunt on consecutive days, which is that they've looked really good, but also added the disclaimer of, hey, we got to see them against hitters. Details, kind of that part of the game. I'm interested to seeing that. The other one, and adding to Tidwell, I don't know for anybody that saw it, he did a little brief interview with Marty Lurie.
I did see that.
He added a splitter, which I'm very interested in because he threw a changeup, unless he's always thrown a splitter and it just classifies wrong. But it's been classifying as a changeup for years. I did a whole deep dive on him.
One pitch, and Marty asked him, "What's that?" He called it
the gyro slider. It's the kind of old school typical slider, the one that kind of dives more straight down. And then he throws a sweeper. The breaking balls he has are both nasty. Throws two different movements with a fastball. He's another guy that could go in the pen because he could throw between the slider and sweeper, he could throw those 55-60% of the time, and then just mix the splitter occasionally against a lefty and the heat up in the zone. Like, he's another guy that could be really good out of the pen, but I like him as a starter. So I'm excited to see Tidwell. A couple prospects I'm looking for. I mean, everyone knows I'm a prospect guy, but a couple guys I'm looking forward to seeing. Obviously, Bo Davidson and Parks Harbor are going to be in camp on non-roster invites. Just kind of want to see what they look like in the big league camp. Their first go at it. They're not going to make the team. Just more fun to watch.
Yeah.
And then
I'm gonna enjoy watching Davidson. Yeah, especially the fact that he's a lefty and with the speed. He could. I wouldn't be shocked to see him at the big club at some point this year.
Kyle Haynes mentioned that he could see him contributing at some point this season. I think it's a little bit of a stretch, but I think he probably needs the whole year in the minors. But we'll see. I mean, you never know. If he has a hot start to Double-A, I think he'll end up in Triple-A pretty quick, and then you're a phone call away. So, we'll see.
You think they'll start him in Richmond again, or do you think he might make the jump? Okay.
He only got like 180 or 190 plate appearances, so I think he starts there. But I like that. I like Harbor. Harbor looked great in the fall league. He's got a great makeup for a hitter. I think he's going to have a lot of success in Double-A this year. But another guy that's getting his first go around. I'm looking forward to see that. And then I really want to see what like some of these young arms like Trent Harris and Will Bednar look like.
Oh, Bednar, that's a guy, I should have mentioned him. Because I definitely want to see Bednar. I'm hoping. What I'm really hoping is that Walker does okay. Nothing. I don't want to see him get blown up in spring, but I do want to see.
We need him.
Yeah, so it's like... I do want to see Bednar be like crap.
Yeah,
this guy's dominant. He's like, we got to carry him.
Yeah, And I'm going to answer Nick's question here because I saw a question earlier. He mentioned Bailey. If he can pick up. He also asked earlier, do we think the last couple months can be a surprise offensive contributor this year? I would not bet a single dollar on Patrick Bailey being a good offensive contributor. I'm not trying to be negative on the guy, but this is literally every year of his career. He has 1 or 2 good months, and then he is quite literally a worse offensive player than Madison Bumgarner in his career for the other 4 months. I'm not even being harsh. Statistically, that is accurate. You can feel free to look that up on me. Until he proves that he can do it for more than 1 or 2 months in a season, I can't put any stock in that. And that's not me trying to be mean to the guy. That's the world we live in, unfortunately. That said, he'll still be a valuable player to the team because defensively, he's the best in baseball right now. So that's what they pay him for. So but I cannot count on that until he proves me wrong.
Now let me ask you a quick question. I know we got a couple minutes here and we got to run, but what happens if Daniel Susac hits and we've seen he's a pretty good defensive catcher. What happens if he hits better than, not great like a hitter, but he hits better than Bailey and he's productive, and Bailey goes into that where he's just an automatic out. It's like, okay, you know what? We'll just take the 5th and he just doesn't even come up to the plate. He's out. Yeah. Okay. What happens? Do you see a world where they start playing a Susac or a Rodriguez or whoever is that backup if they're hitting better, where they play more?
I think if Susac shows that he's a above average defender to go with it, I think conversations will be had. I don't know if they would go that far, but
I'm not talking about taking Bailey's job, but I'm talking more like right now I see it's probably going to be 80-20, maybe 70-30 at the best.
Like the Atlanta timeshare where they go almost 50-50. I mean, I could see that.
Could you see it closer to Atlanta? Yeah, between Baldwin and Murphy.
Yeah, I could see something like that if Susac's an above average defender and he hits. Like it could get interesting, especially if Bailey goes through another funk where he hits a $170 for 4 months. Yeah, like it's just, I want to believe in the guy. I really do. It's just he does this to us every year. He has a good month or two, and he's unplayable with the bat the rest of the year.
What's really weird about Bailey is he has like decent bat control and bat to ball skills when he's trying. Why doesn't he just go up there and just try and, like he did? Remember opening day last year against Cincinnati? He just like came up and there was 2 out and he kept the thing going and he tied it up. He just went up there. Look, I'm not trying to kill it. I just want to make contact. And I've seen him do that.
He shortens up well.
And he seems like, hey, I can put the bat on the ball and put it in play. I don't understand why all of a sudden then he can't even hit the ball for a month. He just strikes out, and he almost looks like Cody that he's going up there like knowing he's going to strike out. Have you ever seen a guy, I'm sure you have in your playing days, where he's just so overmatched, he just goes up there and swings and he's done. And he's like, I'm not even going to try. That's the kind of at bats I see Bailey take.
Yeah, he and Chapman did this a lot last year, but those two, I swear to God, led the league and watched third strikes down the middle. I did. It's mind-boggling, but he does. To your point, like he there's a reason he's good with runners in scoring position and late in games. Like he shortens up, he puts the ball in play better than a lot of the guys on the Giants lineup. So he has, there is a foundation there to be a playable offensive piece, but he just hasn't ever proven that he can do it with any consistency, and that's why it's like. I would love for him to do that, because if he turns into a decent bat, then all of a sudden you're looking at possibly the most valuable catcher behind, or second most probably behind Raleigh, but like one of the most valuable in baseball. But he just, until I see it, I can't count on it. And we're now in year 4. So it's not like this is no longer okay, got his rookie year out of the way. He's now played a full major league. No, he's played 2 full seasons in another year where he played 5 months. Like it's year 4. To me, he kind of, until proven otherwise, he kind of is what he is at this point until he bucks that trend. So, we'll see. And Paul says it best right here: no better motivation than competition. I don't think he's been properly pushed at any point in his career. And if what Dan said comes to fruition, where Suzak or Rodriguez or whoever comes out and plays really, really well, nothing lights a fire under your butt like that. So absolutely, that would be good for everybody. Good for the Giants because they haven't had a good backup for Bailey in forever, and good for Bailey because he's going to be pushed. So, yeah. So, but without, I don't have anything else for today. We're gonna get running here. Next week, I had somebody ask in the chat. They asked about, or not in the chat today, but it was on one of the last videos because they said, "Hey, where's Dan and Ricky?" Basically, I promise. Dan he's working on getting his PC fixed. He should hopefully be back next week. They are still on the show. They're still part of this.
You mean they're not
give them the boot?
They're not in the witness protection program?
No, not yet. Yeah. Somebody in the chat earlier said Dan will return when Wilmer returns. But yeah, so Dan will hopefully be back next week. I'm going to be gone. As long as Dan's PC's fixed, he'll be running a live show by himself next week. So keep an eye out for him. Ricky's schedule kind of got changed on him to where he, I think, has been on nights for a little while. So that's why he hasn't been around, but he should be back in a couple weeks. And hopefully we'll, I think I told the other person that asked, we're hoping it at least by opening day, like all of us are back doing this every week. So that's all I got. Dan, you got anything coming up here before we sign off?
I think we'll be back. Dallas and I'll be back Tuesday night, 8:00, and hopefully I'll have some decent highlights for you to show. I will be down there Monday. Los D and I are going to meet up, watch, which we do every year. We go watch practice, and then we go to our favorite deli and in Scottsdale, and have a nice lunch together. So yeah, and then I'll be at the first game a week from tomorrow when they play the Mariners in Peoria. I'm only 15 minutes from the Peoria sports complex where the Padres and Mariners play. So I'm right in between. I've got the Royals and the Rangers in Surprise, and the Padres and the Mariners. They're like, one's east, one's west. They're 15 minutes. So that's 4 teams that I get to see the Giants, because the Giants come and play each team generally once. So that's, and then I've got, the Dodgers and the White Sox. They're pretty close. So, and then I get over to Scottsdale, which is a little further away, but much more difficult ticket to get.
Yeah.
So
for sure. Nice. I'm going to try and get down there one of these years. It's not going to be this one.
You got to come because spring training is so awesome. You can just go to all the different games. Cubs have a great stadium, and then the Diamondbacks and Rockies share a stadium, which is beautiful. The Giants stadium's nice, but the parking's just the worst. They have no parking at Scottsdale Stadium. You gotta walk. Yeah.
All right. This is the last thing before I go. Alex says if Bailey gets another inside the park home run, then Cody has to do another giveaway. If Bailey, and I'm gonna add this stipulation here, if Bailey walks off with another inside the park home run, I've got, let's see, which one is it? I've got this one over here. I have a signed Barry Bonds ball. And I also have a signed Bruce Bochy ball. I will give one of those away if Bailey walks off with another inside the park home run. Y'all can quote me on that. I will do a giveaway, and someone can pick which one they want.
Well, here's some baseballs.
I've
got a Micaela Cochimilio, that's my wife, and a Dan Cochimilio. We were just playing around.
Yeah.
This one is a real one. Who is this? Oh, this is Casey. I think that's nice. Casey.
There it is.
That's Casey, yeah. And then this one, I forgot who this is. Do you know who that is?
I don't know. I found a ball signed by Sean Purdy.
Really?
Yeah, Brockstad.
Yeah.
We couldn't figure out who it was, and then Dan and Ricky and I finally pieced it together. It was Sean Purdy.
I had somebody sign this, and I can't remember who it is now. Jeez.
Dom saying he's going to throw in a signed B-Crop ball. Crawford ball. Yeah, if pigs fly again this season, somebody's going to cash out here.
Dom Peralta got that. That is Bob Melvin. I forgot.
There
Bo
it is.
Mel signed it for me last year. Yeah,
there it is.
There we go.
No, you know what? Hey, Paul, if I run into Will, we'll try and get one. I just give it away though. I don't really collect memorabilia that much, so the Bochy one's gonna get given away if I ever hit like 10,000 subscribers anyway. So
nice.
I've already like been like, hey, this is gonna be a good one at some point. But all right, well, that's all I've got. Nice. Everybody, I'll see y'all in about a week. Go check out Dan's stuff. Obviously, he's gonna have some good stuff next week with spring training. I do have 2 videos that are scheduled out for next week, as well as one going over to our member side. It's going to be the top 3 prospects that I think are going to break out this year. So that's going to be coming, I think, next Tuesday. So I did pre-record some content for everybody, so you'll still get something. And then hopefully Dan is on the live show next Friday. So check it out. But other than that, Dan, thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining me again this week, a couple weeks in a row, and have fun over at spring training, and go Giants, and we'll catch you all next time.